I don't think Shericka get the respect she deserves.
From who?
Corporate, fans, athletes,
I guess them
everybody.
spoiled. They have three major stars, and the fan base is split amongst three of them.
But is it split equally?
Welcome, Sports Nation, to Sports DTM, the sports channel where we call sports down the middle. You can expect the latest in sports news, views, and reviews from our resident analysts. No sports topic is too controversial, and no team or player is above criticism. So just smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on our balanced offering of riveting sports content. And don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Welcome to Sports DTM.
Greetings, Sports DTM fans, and welcome to another episode of Sports Down the Middle, your channel of undiluted sports content. Raymond and I are here to talk about the fastest woman at over 200 meters for this track season, the national champion over 100 and 200 meters, Shericka Jackson. And by now, everybody should know Shericka Jackson, right? Should I say the athlete who walk across the line in the Olympics over 200 meters in the heats and didn't progress to the next round? No, or scrap that. That's behind us. That's issue. Should not be repeated, right? Right. So, Shericka Jackson left national trials on top of the world, literally on top of the 200 meters world, by being the fastest woman over 200 meters this season, running the third fastest time in history over 200 meters, 21.55. And she did say that she made a lot of mistakes and she will be going back to the drawing board with her coach to fix them. So expect something special at the World. But we're not going to go into the World's track and field championship yet, Raymond, because having run that 2 days after trials, nobody not talk about Shericka Jackson, right? We know certain other athletes who don't have no medal, who not even make a national team, they're being more spotlight placed on those athletes. And we want to know why, because Jacko has been a track star for many years. Why people not give Jackson the respect that she deserves, Raymond? Or do you believe that she is getting the respect that she deserves?
Well, slowly but surely, persons are waking up and opening them eyes to Shericka Jackson of the talent that she is. I mean, of course, the water under the bridge scenario you just described earlier, that happened sometime last year, could have actually catapulted her on the world stage much sooner from a 200-meter perspective. Of course, we saw it in the 100-meter, but something special was in store for the 200-meter that didn't materialize, and she was distraught last year. Now, this year, 2022 now, that thing, water under the bridge now, she's able to show our class and what she have in store for us. And it is being revealed. A lot of track athletes looking around, especially 200-meter runners, looking and training hard and seeing how can I compete with a Shericka Jackson who says she had made some mistake and running that time now with pretty much 2 weeks to leave for the World Championship.
And to think about it, and though we started out with the 200 meters, Shericka is not just a 200 meters runner, right? She has done 400 as a youth athlete. She did a lot of 400. She ran on the 4x1 team and she did some 200s up until adult, and she transitioned from youth to adult. She dropped the 200, she dropped the 100, and she focused a lot on the 400. And if we're to look at some of her progression, even over, let's start with the 400 meters, because there is no athlete in Jamaican history who have done what Shericka Jackson do so far in track and field. A 400-meter specialist as a youth and transition into an adult, Raymond. Look at the progression, and I mean, back in 2008, she was a teenager running 54:27, and she was a high school track star and one of the few high school track star that transitioned from track star in high school to track star in as an adult athlete or senior athlete. And I don't know if I that but then bad mind Shericka.
Well, the thing is, Kurt, she was an immense talent. A lot of persons weren't sure where to place her because of she was strong and she had some speed, and because of that, no, they didn't know where to place her and her build, so they put her at the 400 meters, and as you can see, the progression into through it from teenager onward, she got better because she got stronger and the speed improved as well. And so with that, you're seeing that she topped out at in 2019 with a in 2016 with a 49.83, and then in 2019 her best is at 49.47. So she took it on fully, got a lot of strength work in. She hated it, but she dealt with lactic acid perfectly and also improved on her speed. And as I said, because of her build, her tenacity, and also the fact that she's able to diversify amongst different events, they couldn't quite place her, and so they started her out at 400 meter. It could have been worse. I mean, they could have started her out at 800, so which would have taken a big time step down. But starting her out at 400 with her strength and speed was the best, and that pretty much helped her in the future that we're seeing now.
And looking at her 400 record, 49:47 her personal best, but in 2022, and this is probably when she just decides to hear what 200 and 100 is really where my heart is. But in 2022, she ran 51:29 at a velocity meet, which placed her at the time in the top 6 Jamaican runners over 400 meters. So Shericka Jackson could have entered the national trials in the 400 meters and would be one of those athletes who would have been seriously contesting for a spot to the world championship, in which, by the way, she have more than one medal in 400 meters at the world championship.
Yeah, Kurt. That 51.29 in the early stages was considered background work, but her background work at 51.29, as you said, would place her pretty much in contention to actually qualify for the 400 meter in the world championship. And as you said, it was the sixth fastest at the time. So I said early days then, and it was background work, and she was that impressive then. So you can imagine her strength at that point in time. That to me was a warning to a lot of persons, and it only materialized, we're seeing now.
And Shericka Jackson, as I say, it's not just a 200 or 400. And if we look at her progression over the 100 meters, so let's go to the lower of the three, over 100 meters, which she really started doing lately, right? So when she decided that 400, I don't my thing, but I have the strength, I can do both 100 and 200 meters. Back in 2011, she was running 12.09, and this is like 10 years ago, so she was like 16, 17, running 12.09, and that stage 12.09 is a good time that because you can run this.
I probably can. I probably can run 12.09. I probably can run that. But what I can't run is what's next. That 11.24 is beyond me right now, for sure. And that's happening way, when she was younger. So, yeah, I understand the point you get into. And you can see the progression and the improvement. And from a speed work perspective, you're seeing it fall.
And to move from 11.3 in 2019, there wasn't any running in 2020, and a lot of athletes never got the opportunity to work as hard because of the pandemic. But to move from 11.3 to 10.76, welcome to the big league. The national record was 10.7, and she's running close to the national record at the time when she did this. The national record has moved by the great Elaine Thompson era, but 10.7, not a lot of athletes in the world have gone this far fast or in Jamaica. And this has placed her, I think, 11th overall in terms of time over 100 meters. Like, talk to me.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
Kirk.
kind of greatness.
A sub 11, anytime you do a sub 11 is very impressive for a female athlete. And at this stage of the game, dropping below 10.8 is also another big deal. So it is something to actually take off our hat to Shericka Jackson for is 10.76 into 10.77. And you know what? One thing that most persons don't talk about was our work around the 60 meters. We're not there's not a great amount of progression in that in terms of how many rounds she did with it. We see a lot of that in 2022. We show you that she's working on our start and some of those transition into the drive phase. I mean, transition from the drive phase into the speed and speed maintenance, and that she started early
I
out.
mean, I hear you, and I
Yeah.
understand. But if you're running 400 meters and at a later stage 200 meters, all of your career, you're not gonna ever think about running 60 meters.
No, you won't. You won't. And that's the funniest thing, Kurt. You won't think to do that. But a lot of persons no, well, I wouldn't say a lot. A couple persons were surprised to see her in the World Indoor Championship, the 60-meter World Indoor Championship. I mean, persons were looking at, the Elaine Thompson era and Sherry and Fraser and be like, those rest. But clearly the coach had a plan for her and needed her to understand the start game. She used that as an opportunity to improve on her start and I said transition. And so that is a part of the speed work program that she used to her ability. So strength, we're seeing the strength. We just went through that with the 51, and then now you're seeing you also saw the start and so forth from the 60-meter. So you almost can say what's to come was pretty much on the cards of what we're seeing now and greater things in the future of this year.
Yeah, I was one of them who was surprised to see Shericka Jackson running in the 60 meters and going to the world indoors. But having gone to the national trials and witnessed it first, and I saw exactly what their plans were because I see Shericka Jackson coming out of the blocks faster than Brianna, and Brianna is one of those athletes who have a really, really good start. And if we were to look back at the finals, Shericka was out there with everybody else, and I guess that resulted in the time that she did over 100 meters. So yeah, I'm happy, extremely happy to see Shericka Jackson fixing her start, and I'm extremely excited to see what will happen come World Championship because she said she have something special, yeah, and to actually know that we have three Jamaicans over 100 meters who can threaten the national record and the world record in the same competition in the same year. Who wouldn't want to be supporting the Jamaicans this year, especially in our backyard? Well, some people backyard, well, Oregon. Let me just say that. The people them who own the yard now go there. But so anybody can own it now. But
Yeah.
one of few Jamaicans to have gone 10-8. And then to make it even more impressive, right, is when we look at her 200-meter progression and her 200-meter records. This one she's done with a little bit more time, so there's a little bit more experience in running the 200 meters. And if you notice, the 400 started in 2008. Likewise, the 200, but the 100 start years later. Looking at her progression, and she stir up the world of track and field at the national trials by running 21.55. And she said she make a whole heap of mistake. I don't know what, because my blink and the race done, so I don't know where the mistakes were. But hearing her speak of that and saying that there's still work to be done, running 21.5 Raymond.
Yeah, it I don't know where she's seen a mistake, but I'm not her coach, so I don't know what it is. But that also bodes well for her because she's trying to be a perfectionist where it's concerned and can see where she can shave off her time, here and there, some seconds here and there, and which means that should be able to dip her below possibly the world record. So I'm all for that, for you to look and analyze your race and see where you can improve. Given the lane that she was in, that 21.55 is clearly she ran her own race. All the fast persons were behind her if I'm not mistaken. And that pretty much would catapult her to do what she did, because she wanted to be ahead of all of them. And as such, she was able to run that. And the progression, combine that with the 400 strength, you can just imagine between that and the 400 strength and the 60 meter and the 100, you're looking at strength and speed work. Speed work from out of the blocks, drive phase, into upright running motion, and taking a slight curve because she wasn't in the deepest of curve. She was in lane, if I'm not mistaken, lane 6. So the curve is not as deep out there, and it's perfect for her. And it might be even perfect for possibly like Shelly and Fraser too. That type of lane with those persons behind you, so you run your own race and then you're able to ask them to catch you. So when she's out there with that speed and then the 400 strength, asking them to catch her, that's kind of hard to do because that's when she pull away because she's able to manage lactic acid and hold her form, which is this 21.55. I guess she's probably saying that she didn't hold her form in the way she thought she would have, and that could possibly be the mistake. I didn't see it, and I'm just assuming here because I can't see the mistake. I know there's more in store, but I can't see where the mistake would be.
I'm assuming that maybe incrementally she had some strides or where she should reach at particular time of the race, but I'm not a coach, a track coach or analyst, so I can't see the mistake because me cannot run 30 over 200 meters or 40 over 200 meters. This belly won't allow me, but just leave it alone. I heard you mention that looking at her 400 strength or 200, 100 speed or 60 meter, and then you said this looks like, I thought you were going to say the one of the greatest Jamaican female sprinters we will ever have. I mean, being able to manage the 400 and running sub 50, sub 21.6 in 200 and sub 10.8 in 100, and then sub 8 our personal best over 60 meters 7.0 something. To be
Right.
able to do all of that, we're looking at,
It's
and
impressive.
I'm not talking about just being able to do that, right? She also have medals to show, and the big question that we've been asking is, based on all of this, should Shericka Jackson be getting more respect in the track and field world than she actually is getting now? And we saw recently some of the corporate world start to jump on. We saw a certain bank and a certain bond company. I don't know
Great.
we merged the bank and the bond, but
Right.
coming on board. We
Yeah.
also see other athletes, and I have to mention, right? Other athletes, them now have no medal. Them never make a national team yet. Not at junior, not at junior, not at between junior and adult or senior. Them now have a medal and them a get more sponsorship or more people are talk about them than Shericka. Why?
Oh, it's probably the region them come from. Let's start probably the region. But yeah, I mean, Sherika deserves it. She deserves it big time. I'm just hoping that a lot more will come to the support because she's truly one of the greats. Especially that the full on track 400 step come right around. One other person I can see that is, I wouldn't even say as great, but great in their own right is Atin Mu, from a track perspective, but over 400. So Shericka Jackson is that impressive. That impressive.
I mean, if the fans out there know any other athletes who would have done as impressive as Shericka did over 100, 200, and 400, and even 60 meters, you can leave the comments in the comment section below. But looking at some of her accomplishments as well, Raymond, she has been national champion, and we talk about her 100, 400, 200. She win them races at Jamaica. You know, we're talking about this is Jamaica, right? This is not St. Kitts and Nevis who have one runner. This is Jamaica who have the fastest woman alive over 100 meters, fastest woman alive over 200 meters. And Shericka winning the national trials, the national championship over 100 meters in 2022, but she has done it twice over 400 meters in 2017 and 2019. The only thing left for her to get is the national record over 400 meters. And she has won the 200 meters twice. So this is not the first time she won in the 200 meters. So in addition to running in the races, she actually winning. She not just run and participate like some other athletes. She win.
Yeah, Kurt. There's a lot to show. 200, 400, 100, and all of that is done before 30 is really impressive. And the times too, as you said, sub 50, sub 10.8. And then you say sub 11, sub 10.8, and also sub 22. Yeah, impressive.
And this is Jamaica we're talking about. The sprint factory, the champions of all champions over track and field. Do I need to follow some other country and say the world's greatest country? No? Okay, I'll leave it to the fans to talk about Jamaica, the world's greatest country in track and field. And then on the international circuit now, so it's not just Jamaica she has won, you know. She have Olympic medals over 100 and 400. Right? Them be they represent brands, fans, not anything else, brands, right? Them be they represent brands. She have bronze medal over 400 meters in the World Championship, not once but twice. Right? These are individual medals. We're not going to even talk about she running 4x1, 4x4 at the same Olympics and 100 and 200 meters. But when athletes at the year name I call Shericka name that, you know.
Well, I'm sure after this World Championship, there's a possibility that she can be a contender. I will not say anything more. I'm just actually proud that we have the three best athletes where this is concerned. And however the fans want to split it, 1/3, whatever they want to do. I'm just happy that we have these ladies that make it very interesting and make our country proud.
I mean, fans out there, we've put forward to you Shericka Jackson's stats, her records, her accomplishments, and for some strange reason, Shericka Jackson is not the first name that people talk about when they're talking about great sprinters from Jamaica or the world. But based on her track record, she is one of few international athletes who would have gone sub 50, sub 22, and sub 10.8. One of the only Jamaican to have done it. And if you know any other athlete who have done this, you can leave those in the comment section below. One of the greatest sprinter we would have witnessed, female sprinter would have witnessed. And we want to say kudos to Shericka. Well done. You've made us, your fans, proud by running close to that national record in the 200 meters. And we're expecting great. Hear what? Please don't slow down in another the race. Them. You're strong enough, you're fast enough. Run past the line. Run past the line, please, and thanks. When you go, seriously, fans out there, let us hear from you. What's your thoughts on Shericka's accomplishment so far? Leave all those comments in the comment section below, and always remember to like, to share, and to subscribe. This has been another episode of Sports Down the Middle. Raymond and I signing out. Be blessed.